welcome to Fundy Motorsports Magazine. I'm your host, Dave Hanlon, and on tonight's show, a little later on, we're going to be talking to Brian Ferguson with his segment called Shop Talk. We actually have a name for it now. He's going to be talking to us tonight about tires and how to read them. I didn't know you could read tires, but he says you can, so that's what we're going to be doing. But first, this time out, we're going to feature stock car racing, sports car racing, actually, to be exact. Recently, we sent our cameras to Pennfield Raceway on a nice hot sunny afternoon. Now, the camera crew got a little hot under the collar, we'll say, and what you're about to see is the New Brunswick Sporting Car Club's regional race. But first, we're going to see some pre-race training and the racing school for the drivers to attain their racing license, which in this type of racing you do actually have to have.
That's what that flag racing covers. Yellow flag means danger, caution. Held steady, it will probably be, as I say, for a warm-up lap, or there's a potential slight hazard. A steady flag could be a car that's pulled off well off the track due to a motor failure. Then the marshal will hold it presented to you that is no passing condition. As soon as you reach the next station, racing can resume. The double waving yellow. When you see a double waving yellow, this means you must be prepared to bring your car to a stop almost. This involves the track partially to completely blocked.
See a single wave yellow, invariably I take my foot back off the gas. I may not have my foot on the brake yet, but it's off the gas. Because I know that something is on the track, potentially on the racing line, potentially not, but certainly there's something, usually a spun-out car that's on the racetrack. Double wave yellow, you better have your foot on the brake. Okay, and there's no need not to have it on the brake because the guy behind you can't pass you anyway. So that's the key thing to remember. Double wave yellow means in most cases there's no obstruction on the track. There might be two cars that are spun out, and you cannot continue at racing speeds.
After you get your racing license and you start to race, that's probably one of the most common things. In a lot of cases, one of the only things that you'll get in trouble for. It's something to not see a yellow sometimes is easy to do. You got guys all around you, and you're looking at your tack and your gauges, and it's real easy to pass somebody when there's yellow, and then you're either going to get if you're lucky, you'll get reprimanded. If you're unfortunate, you'll be penalized, and that's probably one of the most common things that you'll ever run against.
A green flag doesn't precede a single yellow. A steady yellow, you won't see a green flag. If you have a waving yellow, the next station should display a green. That means, okay, go for it. Walk on it again, clear the race. The green flag, posted after waved yellows, that's the same status for either a single wave or double wave. The next station will be posting a green, telling you that you're clear to race. The starter, when you come up in grid formation, the starter will hold his flags like this. If he is satisfied with your formation, if everybody's clean, if everybody's happy in the right places, he will go to green. If you guys are all messed up, people are where they shouldn't be, they'll hold you like that, you'll have to go around for another pace lap. The wave green means the race has begun. Otherwise, you'll always see post. Okay, so much for green and yellow. The most important flag on the track. That one. That will always be held steady. It's pretty obvious what it means. So when you see the red flag, you are to bring your car just quickly in control to a stop. Where you are on the track. It does not mean come around to the pits. That's the way we get great big traffic jams. You don't want that. You stop, you wait, at the appropriate time, the marshal will wave you through. If anybody ignores the red flag, they will be shat upon heavily. Okay. Blue flag. Dave gets to see this one a lot. Not posted for him, posted for the car in front of him. The blue flag means there's a faster car behind you, and it wants to get by. It will usually be posted steady when the car is approaching from behind. The marshals usually have a pretty good idea of who's fast, who's not. If you are holding up traffic for a substantial amount of time, this is what you'll see next. This is held by the starter only. This is not the marshal stance. The black flag, what it is you've committed an infraction that the steward or other race official has decided you are a bad boy. You must be taken in and reprimanded. That's what the black flag is for. It will be waved and the car either pointed at with a finger or with the flag by the starter. You must check in with the pits and find out what's going on. Meaning you have to come into the pits, but what it is there's something falling off your car. It will be a potential hazard on the track. We want it taken in and taken care of. That's the meatball.
Some type of mechanical problem, not necessarily something falling off your car, but maybe somebody sees your wheel wobbling or gas pouring out of the back of the car. Something that is going to create a safety hazard to yourself and or the other competitors. So basically, you can come in, find out from the steward or the steward what is wrong. He'll say, geez, you got gas leaking out of the back of your car, and of course you're going to say, well, geez, I didn't know anything about it. And you are allowed during the race, your crew members can come up and fix it, okay? And then you're allowed to go back out back out, re-enter the race. Obviously you don't want to see that because you're going to have lost a couple of laps, and you don't win races that way generally as a rule, right? But it's
good preparation eliminates the need for that play.
When you come out, stick on the outside edge of the pavement as you proceed onto the course. Now, actually we have some rubber down here, which is interesting. When you come up this corner, this is basically a typical constant radius turn, as we just discussed this morning. The apex is going to be, looking at the race rubber here, right about here. When you turn like this, the one thing you have control over is your turn. After that, physics starts to take place, right? The momentum of the car has a lot of force that you have to deal with. The turn-in point is the one main thing that has to be right bang on, ready to go. You can't be too late, you can't be too early. You have to concentrate. And you're going to be on the gas. You're going to be on the outside edge of the turn. What I want you to do is really hug the left-hand side of the track. And you're going to go through a left-hand bend. Where that pylon is basically the apex of that left bend. And you're going to hug that. And you're going to go into the next turn. Again, you want to make it as wide as possible. You're hugging the line, white line on the left towards the second turn.
Thanks, Dave. It's a beautiful afternoon. We're down here at Pennfield Dragway, the site of New Brunswick Sporting Car Club's road race, first one of the year. It's a great way to start off. Behind me now is the improved touring class running around the track. There's going to be 4 different classes of racing. We're going to go behind the scenes, let you know all about this type of racing. Stacey Chapman, organizer of this event and one of the competitors in it here. Stacey, give us a little insight on what these classes are that we're running.
Well, as you know, we're down here in Pennfield. Usually you'll see drag racing down here. What we're doing today, though, is something a little different. We're going around the drag strip. We've put lines out in the pavement. We've lined it with different barriers to put chicanes in and allowing like a real race course. A lot of the cars you see here are the cars that you'll see in the Halifax Grand Prix. We've got improved touring cars, which is basically a car right off the street that has a roll cage and the safety equipment added. You'll see the GT cars. They're a true race car. They've got tube frames and they've got fiberglass bodies and whatever. The Unlimited series, that's the guys that just go nuts and put everything from superchargers to whatever in and they'd be running. Then you have the Formula Fords. I think in a minute you'll probably see some Formula Fords come running through here. They're the little 1600 Formula looking cars. And that's about the racing we have here this afternoon.
Okay, they are open wheel racers. They're non-ground effect.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no wings or anything loud enough this class.
Yeah, I think they're just about finished their pace lap, so let's have a look at these guys coming by.
Get a green flag right here.
Got the pace car here, Ralph Brooks. Ralph, can you explain what your job is here today?
Well, I'm sort of doing 2 jobs here today. I'm regional race director now, but I'm playing chase car and pace car. Now, the first laps, when I lead them around the pace car, I'm just setting the pace, trying to keep the field together. Then I peel off, the guys take the green, then I just follow in the first lap. Often in the first lap, that's the time you're going to have an accident or so on that's going to happen. And it's a nice idea just to have a chase car along behind to communicate back to the start and finish, whether or not it might be worthwhile to stop the race and do a restart or that kind of thing. So that's all that's about. It's just a little extra safety thing so we know what's going on. And we only do it the first lap.
One of the big things here is safety, that's for sure.
That's very first thing, for sure.
Thanks a lot, Ralph. Let you get back to work.
Okay, bye now.
Uh-oh. Check that guy's back tire. Got broken suspension.
Turn your mic toward it.
I am. Hey, I'm here with Andy Tonette. Andy, you were doing pretty good, battling for the lead there. What happened?
Well, we were having a little dice there, and I come around the turn at the head of the straightaway here, and my rear suspension pulled apart on me.
From the roughness of this track down here, you wouldn't want any suspension problems around here.
No, this track, it's old, and it's certainly hard on cars, tires, and suspension. And I guess it was just too much for the for the day today.
So you're not going to be able to get back in?
I'm going to have a closer look once I get the car off the track and see if I have any parts available.
Okay, then. Thanks a lot, Andy. Get back to work. Here with Bruce McPhail. He just won this first heat this afternoon. Bruce, can you tell me a little bit about your involvement in this sport?
Sure. I've been competing for about 5 years now. It's a very fun level to compete in. It's entry-level formula car. It's very quick. and relatively inexpensive and very fast.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, too.
It is an awful lot of fun, yes.
Okay, somebody wants to get into this sport. Where do they go? What do they look for?
Well, right now in the Maritimes, come see either myself or Tim Chestnut. I think would probably be the best bet, but there are cars available in Ontario and Quebec, and for anybody who's interested, we'll certainly be glad to give them a start. There's also the Moosehead Street Race in Halifax in September, which is attracting a lot of attention now, too.
Getting good coverage.
Excellent, yes.
Okay.
Everybody that's going to make this session will be. Huh? Everybody.
Hey, I'm here with Daryl Whitehead, the winner of the GT2 class race here today. Daryl, can you give me a few comments about your background in racing?
Well, I've been rallying probably for about 12 years, and we started road racing 3 years ago. For a change, we tried it and kind of liked it, so here we are.
Okay, how expensive is to put one of these cars together?
Expensive you want to get, I guess.
Are there limitations then on what you're allowed to do? And
not too much in the GT class. You can pretty well do anything in the motor, as long as the motor came in that body style car. You can pretty well do any modifications you want to it. Suspensions are modified and mostly adjustable and a lot stiffer. Of course, your safety, roll cages and all the safety devices that are in the car.
Okay, where do you do most of your racing at?
At Lank Motorsport Park in Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia.
Now, this is your first time to race in this area?
Yeah, well, we rallied up in Fredericton and Moncton in Lobster and the Moosehead Rally, but it was our first road race there, yeah.
It's good to see road racing here in New Brunswick. I hope we can have more of it.
Well, we'd like to come back in, yeah.
Yeah, we'd be glad to invite you back.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
In the pits here now with Hugh Reed. Hugh, you having any problems here or just generally retuning?
Oh, we got a little bit of a miss, and we're trying to work it out, change some spark plugs and things like that. Also, maybe the fuel system maybe give us a bit of a problem.
Okay, you're running a V6 in this.
V6. People get confused because it's got a Siamese port and there's only 2 pipes coming out the side, but then they see the 3 spark plugs and then they go away scratching their heads. I wonder what this is. It's a German built V6 and it's got 2600 cc's and it's a good strong engine.
How many miles do you figure you get out of an engine like this?
We rebuild it about every season. I don't know how many miles that is, probably about 9 or 10 races a year.
Now you do your racing mainly at Atlantic Motorsport?
Yeah, it's a 1.6 mile paved circuit, 11 turns.
Were you involved with the Moosehead Grand Prix last year?
Yeah, we raced there last year. We qualified middle of the pack out of 25 cars or so, and we finished 6th spot. I hit the wall in the last lap and flattened a tire, and I lost 1 position. We ended up finishing 6th overall.
I suppose that's one thing different about these street courses. You don't get to see them very often, and when you do, they got walls all over the place.
And you can't move those bloody barriers.
Well, the school looks like a lot of fun, but a lot to remember with the corners and the course, the flags and all that. Congratulations goes out to all the winners tonight. Glenn Porter driving his VW Rabbit in the school sedan race. Also, congratulations goes out to Andy Tonin, driving his Lola T540 in the school Formula 1600 race. Now, I should mention that the school races were just basically for fun. And now the Coke Challenge, congratulations goes out to Daryl Whitehead, driving his Datsun 510 in the ITSS race. Congratulations goes out to first place John Rankin, driving his VW Golf. It just goes to show the VWs can move fast. The Formula 1600 race number 1, congratulations to Bruce McPhail, driving his Van Damon. And in the GT1, GT2, 3 race, congratulations to Daryl Whitehead once again, driving his Datsun 510. And as you can see, they're just getting ready to get going in the background. The Formula 1600 race number 2, Bruce McPhail, congratulations for driving his Van Damon. And finally, the Unlimited race, Daryl Whitehead, driving his Datsun 510. Daryl taking away a lot that day. Congratulations goes out to all 8 winners of the New Brunswick Sporting Car Club Regional Race. Now our Fundy Motorsports magazine calendar of events. We're going to update you on the events happening in and around your areas. Coming up, it's the 10th annual National Ride for Sight. It's in June of this year, actually, and they're riding against a tough enemy, blindness. They're leaving the AQ on the west side Saturday at 10:15. It's June 13th. And also at this event, we're going to have Top Fuel drag bikes at Pennfield Dragway. So something you may want to go out and see. June 13th, 1992, the 10th Annual National Ride for Sight. And coming up in a moment, we're going to see, we're going to talk to Brian Ferguson. He's going to tell us all about tires and how to read tires and how to read stories to tires, I guess. Okay, so Brian, what are you going to talk about and what are you going to do today?
We're going to talk a little bit about tires. I want to do a little rundown on what the sizing and the terms actually mean. Maybe clear up a little bit of confusion. Here's a good example of a worn out tire. We have the size rating here, which I've highlighted a little bit. P185 60 SR14. And then you'll see underneath the tread wear, traction, and temperature ratings. They all have a significant meaning. And what I like to do is try to explain them a little bit. Okay, the P stands for passenger tire. You could have passenger with a P. You could have a T, which means temporary, as in most use on temporary spares, or a C, which is commercial. Okay, the majority of the cars we're going to see around have a P because they're passenger tires. Okay, the 185. 185 represents the width of the tire when measured from the sidewall to sidewall on the outside in millimeters. So that would mean that this tire is 185 millimeters thick from side to side. The 60 is called the aspect ratio. What that means is it's a percentage ratio comparing width to height. So if this is 185 millimeters wide, it's 60% as high, which will give us, 103 millimeters in height, measured from the tread to the bead. Okay, the S. The S is the speed rating. The speed ratings are given on some tires and some they're not. If they're not a speed rated tire, you would not see it here. It would just be, for example, 60 R14. Where this one is speed rated, the S means it's rated for a speed of 180 kilometers per hour. Now these are tests which are done by the manufacturer under specific conditions. And the higher the performance tire, generally, the higher the lettering. It goes all the way up to Z, which is like 240 kilometers per hour plus. Okay, the R in the lettering represents radial tire construction. There's basically 3 types of constructions. There's radial, which means that the treads, the plies, are wrapped around and around and around. There's the bias ply diagonal, which means that the tread plies are going diagonally. And there's the bias belted, which they are belted one over the other for stronger construction. Most cars today are running radial ply tires because of better mileage, a lot quieter, and they last longer. And the last thing here is 14, which is the diameter of the rim measured from bead to bead in inches. Most of our cars do use the inch system. There are a few around which are running metric, but there are few in between. Okay, tread wear is a rating given by the manufacturers, and it's rated in increments of 10. And what it means, every 10 increments means that this tire should last for 4,800 kilometers, tread life expectancy. Therefore, this tire, which has a rating of 320, would be 320 times 4,800 kilometers. That was the original tread life expectancy of the tire when it was new. Okay, the next one is traction. Both traction and temperature, which is after it, are rated either A, B, or C. They use a lettering system. They don't give you specifics on what it means, but A is the best and C is the worst. So if you were comparing tires and you wanted a good traction and a low temperature running tire, good temperature, then you would look for A's. And as I said, as the letters increase up to C, then that means that it wears a little bit faster and the temperature runs a little bit hotter. We have here is another example of a temporary spare. You can see by the rating T in the beginning of the sizing, that designates temporary use only. And as I said before, the 125 would be the width in millimeters. The 70 would represent the height ratio, that is height to width, 70% as high as it is wide. The D is a diagonal bias ply, and the 15 is 15-inch rim diameter. Now you'll notice that they mark right on the tires temporary use only, and also a maximum speed rating, 50 miles per hour usually, or 80 kilometers. The reason for this is because of the unequal traction which you'll have on your car, because you're running one bias ply tire, which is quite narrow in comparison to the original tires, and you would be running with 3 radial plies. So they recommend that you keep your speed down and not to use them for extended periods. The tire construction is a lot harder and a lot stiffer than a radial ply to try to give you a little bit of that control that you need.
That's the King Nissan Shop Talk segment. Thanks a lot, Brian, for your introduction on tires, I guess, and how to read them. We look forward to talking to you in the near future. Coming up on next week's show, mass car racing at Petty Raceway. Yeah, a new racetrack we never covered last year. Well, we're branching out this year, and we're going to cover it. That's coming up next week on Fundy Motorsports Magazine. For producer Don Ferguson, I'm Dave Hanlon. For Fundy Motorsports Magazine, keep motoring.